Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, please do make sure to subscribe because you're pretty much dead to me right now until you subscribe. Anyways, for today's video, I am actually doing an album review. I haven't done an album review in a while. I think the last album review I did was the Kylie Golden album, and if I'm honest, there just haven't been that many exciting releases going on in music for the past couple of months. It's just been a lot of hype and hype and hype and hype and hype that so many people are releasing. This person's doing music, this person's doing music, that person's doing music. It's just been a lot of hype and not that much releasing, which leads me to expect a really huge year in music next year. But there was one exciting release that did come out today, which I was actually anticipating this album quite a lot, just because of everything that happened and also just how different the music was, and that was Ariana Grande's new album, Sweetener. When I think of Sweetener, I think like adding Sweetener in my passion tea lemonade at Starbucks, or adding Sweetener in the strawberry acai, or in my mango dragon fruit, but I've never thought of it as an album title, which is really interesting. And today I'm going to be reviewing Ariana Grande's album, Sweetener, and girl, I've got opinions. I just finished listening to the album as of a couple of hours ago, so my thoughts are fresh, they are precise, they are maybe not that eloquent, but they're gonna get the point across. So if you want to see my full, brutally honest review on Ariana Grande Sweetener, then keep on watching. For starters, I want to start off where everything began, which was last year when the horrific events of the Manchester attack happened. I think that was definitely a moment in the entire music industry that just shocked everybody, because it was just such a horrific thing to happen, especially at a concert where you're supposed to go and enjoy music and forget about whatever's going on in your life, and to have something that malevolent and malicious happen to so many people and have 22 deaths and 500 injured was just such a horrific thing. And I honestly could not even begin to imagine how she felt and how everybody who was there felt. So it was definitely just such a shock to the whole industry, and it was something that was really horrific, and it was done with malevolent intentions, and it was awful. I don't really want to go too much into detail with that because I know everybody knows everything already, so I want to keep it like that. But that was the beginning of it all, and I think that was definitely a pivotal point with her and which direction she would take the next album, because the Sweetener was supposed to come out a lot earlier than it did, but because this happened, she wanted to take more time to really process everything and, you know, kind of change a few things about the music so that it's up to date and so that it coincides with what happened in her life, which I totally respect and I totally appreciate that, and I think that was a smart move to do. And then come early this year, No Tears Left to Cry came, and I was really anticipating the single because I knew that there was going to be something different in this album. I really did believe, even before anything had been released, anything had been mentioned, I knew deep down this album is going to be different. It's going to be a lot more different than the past albums, because if I'm honest, I'm going to keep it real for you. Like Jeffree Star says, I'm going to keep it gangster. I am not the biggest Ariana Grande fan. I have maybe like a couple of songs of hers, but I've never been that one person that'll listen to her whole album from start to finish. I've never done that, and it's not because I hate her, and it's not because I don't like her music. It's just that her music is not the type of music that I would personally listen to on a day-to-day basis like certain other people. So that's why I would never really buy her music, but I knew that this album was going to be different, so I became fully invested in, you know, expecting and anticipating what would come out of her from this album. The first song definitely did not disappoint. I really did feel it was the strongest beginning that this era could have had. I don't think there could have been any other single that would have been better as the first single. I think she wisely chose No Tears Left to Cry as the first single, and I think it did what it was supposed to do, which was get people excited for the new album. And I definitely do believe that it is up there with one of the best songs on the album, and I really do think that it was just such an amazing way to begin it, and the music video was so stunning as well. It was visually stunning too. Overall, with the album from start to finish, I'm gonna be honest, there's a few songs that are forgetful. I will say that the first song, the second song, and the third song, I do really find them to not be up to par with the rest of the album. And also throughout the whole album, you can definitely hear a Pharrell Williams influence within the whole album. I do think he was heavily invested in the production process of the whole album, because it does in a way sound like Pharrell music. It sounds like Pharrell music. It sounds like what he's done in the past, but with a new twist to it, and also with Ariana Grande on it. It makes it her own music, but there is that influence of Pharrell Williams in there, which does change a lot of the direction of the album and does change a lot the feel of the album. But what I really did like, and what I really did enjoy about this album, was that it wasn't like the past albums where, you know, she would really showcase her vocal capabilities within almost every song, especially within the singles. She would showcase her vocal capabilities. I think with this album, she really wanted to focus on the lyrics and putting out a message, instead of, you know, where am I gonna hit the high note, where am I gonna sustain that note, where am I gonna do this, where am I gonna do that. She really did focus on the lyrics, and she focused on the passion and the emotion of the music, which is something I truly respect, and it made me enjoy the music an awful lot more. And one thing that really, I guess, surprised me about this album was that almost all of the songs are really short, especially for pop music. Like, the songs are really short. Like, I think the shortest song is obviously Raindrops, which is 36 seconds, and the longest song is the last song on the album, which is Get Well Soon. But aside from that, within the middle, a lot of the songs, the time ranges from 2 minutes and 50 seconds to maybe like 3 minutes and like 20 seconds, which is really short for a pop song, in my opinion. A lot of pop songs these days range from like 3 minutes and 55 seconds to 5 minutes. That's the typical range for pop songs. It's the range that I've used as well on my own music, from like 3 minutes, like I've done a 7-minute song too, but from 7 minutes to 3 minutes. But she really shortened the album, and it really made the album very precise, and I definitely enjoyed it. You know, I don't really like albums that are really short, personally. I don't like albums that are short because I like for something to kind of drag along a little bit. But with this album, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the idea that these songs were a lot more shorter, because they were more precise and they didn't overlap too much to the point where I would find this album exhausting. They got the point straight, they got the point out there, the message was heard, and the message was well received with these songs, regardless of how long they were. So I do appreciate, you know, the concise and short said messages that these songs give, because they definitely resonate with a lot more people with it not being so long. Overall, I think some of the best songs on the album are in my opinion, we all have our own opinions, we all think differently. This is my opinion, you've got your own. My favorite songs, and I think some of the best songs on the album, in my opinion, are R.e.m, God Is a Woman, Breathing, Goodbye and Go, and No Tears Left to Cry. I almost forgot that one. To me, those 5 songs are some of the best songs on the album. And Successful, there we go, that's the one I was forgetting. And Successful, I actually really did like Successful because of just how unapologetic that song is. You don't really hear a lot of women in pop music be as unapologetic as that song, because they're perceived as a bitch, if I'm honest. That's what they're perceived as, if they are that, you know, unapologetic and real and to the point. So I really did like that. I think it was an incredible thing to add into the album. I think my least favorite song of the album would definitely be the album title song, Sweetener. I just really didn't like it. I'm not the kind of person that likes things being repeated over and over and over again. And then Pharrell doing those weird sheesh things in the background just made me laugh quite a bit. But I am trying to find the idea of the song. And I definitely did find the idea of the song, which was, you know, when life is not that good, you bring the sweetness in the life that I need. I get the message behind the song. It's just why Pharrell? Why? Also, I found the collaboration with Missy Elliott to be a little underwhelming, because obviously with collaborations you want the other person within the collaboration to be as heavily involved with the song. I really do feel like it wasn't even a collaboration with Missy Elliott. It was just like a cameo of Missy Elliott in the album and in the song, because it was that short and precise. And that's one issue with the songs being so short, is that when you're collaborating with someone in a 2 minute and 50 second song, they don't have enough time to put their own input into the song. So that was my only issue with that, is that that collaboration was pretty underwhelming to me. And I think the ending of the song was really just beautifully put, because she put an entire 40-second moment of silence for the victims and the tragedies that happened in the Manchester attack, which I think was just such a touching and beautiful and emotional way to end this album, and I really don't think it could have ended any other better way. With that being said, I do think the song Get Well Soon it's a beautiful song, and it has an incredible message, and it definitely is about, you know, self-care and self-help, but I do feel that the song was all over the place lyrically and musically as well. I think it lacks a bit of structure. Same with The Light Is Coming. I think those two songs are the only two songs where I had kind of a bit of an issue keeping up with those songs, because they were so all over the place and they weren't as structured as other songs. Like Breathing is a song that's well structured, and God Is a Woman is also a song that's really well structured, but those two songs are just very like, there's this part, then there's this part, then there's this part, then there's this part, then there's this part. So they're really all over the place, but at the same time it perplexes me a bit, because they're so all over the place and they're so out of structured, but they still get the point across and they still get the message across to everybody. It's weird. Like, her writing techniques are weird, if I'm honest. I haven't seen writing techniques like that in a long time. And but the important thing is that no matter how unstructured the songs were, they got the message across, and that's what is more important. It's more important that the message gets across and that people understand the song. I do understand where people could get mixed reviews from this album. I do see how there was mixed reviews on Twitter, because after I had heard the album, I like immediately hopped on Twitter to see what people thought. A lot of people really liked it. A lot of people didn't like it. I swear to God, I'm gonna have to remember to charge my camera battery a lot more often. As I was saying, I could understand where people didn't really enjoy this album, because it is so completely different to her past work. I have songs from her first album, and I have songs from her second album, and I have like one from her third album, and they all like, they're huge, humongous pop hits that go #1, and they're monsters, and they have so much vocal and production to them. And these are less produced, it's less vocals, and more about sending a message, and more about showcasing the lyrics a lot more. And lyrically, I think this album is pretty genius, if I'm honest. There are some songs, like I said, Sweetener, again, I don't really like that song, but there are some songs which are lyrically genius. I will say that there are songs there that are lyrically genius that I really did enjoy and that I really did love. And overall, I do give this album a 8.5 out of 10, because even though this album was incredible and this album was great, I do feel like there was just something else that was missing of this album, and I'm sure anybody else who would have heard this album might say the same thing. I do think maybe like a 17-track album would have been better than a 15 one. I don't know how many songs she recorded. I don't know if those are all of the ones she recorded, but I do feel like there was maybe just like one or two more songs within the middle that would have really sealed the deal for this album. But overall, I thoroughly did enjoy this album, and I thoroughly did enjoy the songs that I absolutely loved. Breathing just has to be the third single. Fourth or third? I think third. Yeah, third. Breathing just definitely has to be the third single. It's one of the best songs on the album that wasn't released before the album. It's a pop charter, it's a monster song, but it also stays within the same lane as the entire album, and I absolutely love that song for that reason. Anyways, that is my brutally honest review on Ariana Grande's new album, Sweetener. Let me know what you think down below in the comments of this album. Have you heard it? Have you not heard it? Are you about to hear it? Are you hearing it as I'm talking? First of all, why are you hearing it as I'm talking? That's rude. And if you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up, or you're dead to me. Subscribe, or you're dead to me. Comment down below, or you're dead to me. And yes, you really are dead to me if you don't do any of these things. And I will see you very soon with another video. Goodbye.